Welcome everybody to our Empath Weekly, the energy forecast for next week, November 24th till 30th. My name is Jona Bryndis, and as always this energy update is directed towards you, energetically sensitive and empath. I hope you guys had an okay week last week. This week is going to be awesome, and you will be able to actually tap into your superpower here as an empath. All right, there are some tricky aspects to it, which we will get to here in a few minutes. But first of all, I would like to hear from you guys how this week has been treating you. Those of you in the United States, you are in your post-Thanksgiving leftover day. What are your leftovers from Thanksgiving? And how did you guys handle some of the challenges last week? Lots of karmic stuff, lots of triggers. Lots of people had relapses. And, you know, relapse not just in the sense of addiction to substances, but addiction to things that they already know are not conducive or not good for them. And so there was a lot of dealing with these triggers that could really get us into sort of our dark place. How did you guys handle that? How did that work for you guys? Yeah. Yes, depression is one of these things that got triggered in a lot of people. You know, this feeling of nothing is working after all this, you know, effort, after all this, like, you know, trying to be spiritual and all this, you know, it just comes down to the same old, the old patterns as we talked about. And that's really frustrating. Many actually had this really strong, well, it's not worth it, or, you know, it's, you know, what am I even doing this for? What is the deal here? You know, what is the purpose of all of this? And this is why I wasn't sure how to you know, introduce last week to you guys, because, you know, going through these type of self-reflective times, you know, can be very healing for us, because it can reconnect us with ourselves. It can also show us, you know, some of the reality of ourselves, you know, like, you know, how we handle limitations or deal with things that are triggering our past. So in essence, you know, when we go through this really deep low in those times, it's usually just showing to us that there is stuff that is not healed yet. We all have unhealed things, so there's nothing wrong with, you know, knowing that there are things from my past that are not okay yet. But the point here as an empath is that when everybody goes through this, and when there's a lot of news like we've seen in this last week, you know, where you know, people you know, going through disasters, people are going through you know, severe loss, and our energy centers are so you know, conflicted and really triggered on all levels. What this can do to us is that we lose the touch, the connection with our true self. So the best way to counteract that is to connect with ourself again through our body. And this will continue to be part of the theme here for next week, just so you know, but not in this really sort of depressive type of way. You know, we've forgotten what it's like to not have this constant stimulation, constant gratification around us. So to stay in a somewhat calmer, more silent space with ourselves is something that frightens us a bit. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is what can help us to connect with ourselves, to familiarize us with ourselves, if you will, and so that we don't need to be worried, we don't need to be afraid of going there. So this following week here, you'll feel a lot better, so don't worry about this. However, you're still going to need to do the connection part. So the biggest thing here for next week, if you're already feeling a bit low, is to not isolate yourself, to really go into this place of allowing to connect within, but without shutting everything out. Okay, so it's a bit of a balancing act, because you know, going out and partying is not what I'm talking about when I talk about connecting with others. Connecting with others is what can lead us back to connecting with ourselves. This is something that we sometimes forget. Okay, so even, you know, just going out into a park, or you know, where you see other people, where you know, you don't have to talk to other people, but connecting in a way that you can feel their life force again. And you know, if that doesn't work for you, then try nature. You know, that's usually you know, where you can reconnect, unless you live in a place where it's like really dark and cold right now. You know, when you live in those kind of places, then nature, you know, I would only do this when it's really sunny out, because otherwise, you know, it can trigger this doom and gloom inside of yourself. So seek places where there's life force, positive life force. Okay, that's what will allow you to tap back into your superpower, as I called it earlier. You know, to feel connected with your humanness. If you've watched the energy tips that I published here for the Patreon and Heart Warriors from last week, everything I said in there still counts for this following week. It's just not going to be as intense, okay? But our seventh chakra is still going to be wide open for this week coming here. And so we got to be careful in these times, because if we don't have a good connection within and a good vision of ourselves, then you know, all these collective visions, you know, and this stuff that is going through the news and so forth can really get a foothold in our energy, and we don't even know what is ours and what isn't. So for next week, it's all about expanding beyond ourselves, but at the same time not taking on the stuff that are coming in from, you know, that are coming in unfilteredly from the outside. And our superpower here as energetically sensitive, as empath, is just that. Okay, we can feel, you know, what is going on here, like say in a room with people around us, you know, if we're with our family right now, you know, this is one of our superpowers, that we can feel the real deal. There is no lying possible, you know, but because we don't know sometimes which is ours and which isn't, we start questioning ourselves, and then things become unreal. All right, so it's really about exploring that a bit, and maybe if you can do this real consciously next week, you know, to really sit and observe, you know, and explore your options, you know, like, is this at all mine, you know? Is this something that I need to handle right now, or is this just something that is coming in where, you know, where I just I need to learn how to stay centered and grounded? Is there anything that where I can grow beyond myself, you know, say beyond my limitations or beyond my habits? Okay, can I go and reach out maybe? You know, can I talk more with other people, share my feelings more? Or if I am, you know, on the sharing side, and if that's not an issue for me, you know, can I maybe listen more? So wherever our limitations are, you know, to grow beyond that, and to see, you know, if there are other options there. But the big issue is still going to be the you know, discerning truth. You know, am I being truthful? Is what I'm saying truthful? So one of the things that I've observed last week was that a lot of people had these you know, combobulations with them, that this convoluted sort of fogginess about themselves, mostly because they weren't true to themselves. And so many also experienced like physical pain, like this all over soreness, all over pain. And this is something, you know, you got to be careful with, because when as an empath, when you train to connect within and you meditate and you do all these things that you know that you want to show your future, or what your purpose is in life, or what your talents are. You can't just look at these things without fully connecting with yourself. So you're gonna have to look at all the other stuff as well. It always goes hand in hand. And so, for us as empaths, the learning curve here is really to understand that this openness that we are born with, okay? And some of you feel maybe that it's not chosen, you didn't choose this, but there is a greater purpose for this, guys. This is where our entire collective evolves into. We are evolving into people who can access these 95% of our powers that aren't even in use yet. This potential that we have, that is way beyond our five senses and just our physical existence. Okay, this is starting to come forward. This is what it means to awaken. And as we do this, all these false parts in us, they start falling away. And sometimes that's a bit painful. And sometimes it confuses us. And that's why we need a lot more time in the future with ourselves. So one of the biggest issues with this younger generation of empaths is, that you guys have been raised in a time where some of these things are already sort of unfolding in front of you. Some of your parents may actually be sort of energetically aware, and yet though they're not fully congruent with it, and so you still sort of doubt yourself in the whole process. But the main thing is that through media and through Google and through YouTube and so forth, you just have this massive amount of information, which most of it isn't true, but that confuses you. So the best way to learn about yourself is really to shut out outer information, not to shut out your feeling and your senses, but to shut out the news that is coming in, some of the energies that are coming in through movies and through songs. You really got to pay attention to them if they make you feel good, if they are at all conducive to you. Okay, so this is one of the issues here that as empaths that we have to learn, is discernment, how to discern truth. So you guys are so used to getting everything for free, like information, for seeing like all the things that are going on in the world simultaneously and so forth, for having all this information at your fingertips. But this isn't all true, and so you're gonna have to find a way to navigate through this. And this is the part in our evolutionary process that we're all in right now, is discernment. And this will continue, so this isn't just like a time phase. Okay, so next week, you're going to deal with other levels of truth. And that is, which of the connections that you're making are based on truth. So how can you truly connect with other people? How can you truly connect within? Okay. Yes, and the external input is making you less hopeful. I totally get that. This is a part of this discernment task. Okay, so you're going to see in the news a little shift here for next week. Okay, it's going to be more optimistic. There's going to be more hope. So if you just look at, especially here in the United States, the news that is coming in, it's supposed to polarize us. It's supposed to make us angry and fearful. Okay, because then as a population, we are more controllable. Okay, so to break through this negativity here, that comes in, and there's a quote that I made about the collective insanity. I said it takes a warrior of the heart, to really plow through that, to withstand this collective insanity. So as we are, on the cusp of big social and planetary and political, well, economical, societal changes. Things have to polarize for a while. So this is going to be like this for probably another 2 years, okay, where things are just getting more and more heated up. And so you got to have a good navigator in place, how to navigate, how to discern truth in media, and also to know what to stay away from. So with the crypto calibration group, where we have calibrated cryptocurrency companies, we've now started to also calibrate movies and books and songs. All right, and I haven't aired for the Crypto Spiritual Energy Update in a month simply because I was too busy. But this is going to come back again, guys, and we're going to actually try to build a little bit of a database for you as far as like certain, sort of typical movies and books and so forth that we are exposed to nowadays. Perhaps even news channels. We can calibrate anything. I hope this helps you a little bit, but next week you'll feel better. This will feel less heavy, okay? So there's a really cool sort of shift into sort of, where people realize they have to take a higher route. And collectively, planetarily, I'm expecting a lot of environmental stuff to come forward here this next week, and where people really sort of get it, okay? We got to do something. Now, if you are from Europe or from Asia, and even if you're from Australia, you'll have a different view on this anyway, okay? But in the United States, where a lot of the movies, a lot of the songs, a lot of the cultural things, sort of are getting birth, I'm expecting this to become a bigger part. It is not hopeless. It's just that we really need to rock up in our awareness and grow beyond ourselves as a person, as, a village, as a family, as a nation. We're all in this together. So ultimately, that's a beautiful thing because we're moving towards more oneness. Okay? Cool that you're going on a trip. The deep journeys, the Aya journeys, working with plant medicines. Just understand, when you come in to your journey in a sort of, like a low place, okay, then the medicine will amplify that, okay? So maybe until you're there, make a conscious effort to realign to your body and to your self-love, to yourself, because it's like an amplifier. It's the same with cannabis and other plant medicines, okay? How you enter, the ceremonies has a lot to do with where your energy's at. Yes, and I see you guys. I see Denmark. Don't get called into, don't get frustrated by the crypto desperation right now, guys. This is manipulated, and it's actually indicating a big run. Okay, so pay attention to the crypto market. If you are in there, pay attention. Things are coming. So Canada, yes, I see you too. So guys, take this next week with a salt or grain, but know that this is a week where, your powers, your strengths, where they can actually become really valuable for you and where you can actually have a really good time. But you can't isolate and you can't do fake connections either. So it's all about discernment of truth, discerning who your real friends, who are the, good movies, good songs, good things to surround yourself with. And if you realize that you don't have much good stuff to surround yourself with, then explore new options. Okay, this is really a big part of this here, to grow beyond, explore new things. If you have the money, go travel, change the scenery, see how others do this. If you don't, or if you're going back home from college, then don't just go with the same old people that you've been with, your past life. Not your past life, but your life, before you left. Okay, try to meet new people, okay, and be open. And try to build true connections. Yes. So the giveaway that we have here for this next week is one that we won't really be able to do live. I'm going to give away a free membership for the Sacred Self-Healing course. That is a 12-month membership with tons of the webinars and workshops, and literally teaching you top-notch energy work techniques. And I will give the free Sacred Self-Healing membership to who leaves a review here on my Facebook page. So those of you who are watching this from the Transcodes forum, because you don't have a Facebook account, you won't be able to do this. Because you can't do this on my Facebook page without being, without having a Facebook account. But I'm also giving away 10 Transcodes notebooks, and those can be used as journals. They are a nice, handy format, not the big kind, but the smaller kind. You can carry this in your purse or in your, whatever, in your hand, 10 of those I'm giving away to everybody who is going to share the video as it's posted. Okay, so I can see this here on Facebook that you have shared the video, and you can do this from the forum as well. So sharing this video will get you a free Transcodes notebook. And what I need from you, obviously, is your shipping address. Please don't post this in the comments here. Please send me a personal message or email. If you have my email, it's jona@transcodes.com. So I'll publish the names of the winners here on Facebook and in the forum. So one Sacred Self-Healing membership for those of you who leave a review for Transcodes, the first one who leaves a review on the Facebook, on my Facebook page here, and 10 Transcodes notebooks for those of you who share this video. In a nutshell, before I record the energy tips for the patrons and heart warriors here in a few minutes, ask yourself, am I being true? Does this make me feel true? What I am listening to or what I'm exposing myself to. What are other options? What are my options here? How can I grow beyond, these limitations that I'm seeing here? And then a last one, which can help those of you who actually had to deal with relapsing and a really rough week last week, is send your body some loving, okay? You can't do this journey without your body. So ask yourself, how you can really work with this. How you can really, do something that that is good for your body, okay? Remember this, guys. Even though we all want to be spiritual, okay? We have this body, this physical 3D body, and that's part of our mission, okay? So we got to learn how to treat it well, and that's part of being true to ourselves as well. The more you work on being true to yourself and connecting within, guys, the more physical pain you'll actually experience. Unfortunately, but that is because you are really connecting with your body as well. Okay, well, send me lots of likes here. Also share this video so you get a free Transcodes notebook sent to you if you share this video. And let me know if you are struggling with something. I'm responding to your posts here in the comments in Facebook and YouTube, as well as the Transcodes forum. If you don't have a forum account for our empath community here at Transcodes, go check it out. It's free. It's tons of resources there. And this is also where, we work all these energy sessions that we have going on here almost on a daily level. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And please ask me if you have questions about such things. I want to see a bit more hearts here, guys. I haven't really seen any hearts or likes from you, so push it again. On and off, I don't care. Okay. Thank you, guys. Soon you get the energy tips that only the hardwares and Patreons get here. Yes, yes, I'm seeing them. Thank you. All right, roughly on Tuesday, Wednesday, you're going to have access to those as well. Thank you all for coming. See you next week. Bye-bye.